Kia ora. Welcome to Saturday, 5th of November 2022. Morning Ramble's a little late again this morning. I decided to do some chores because we had a whole bunch of rain come down and pretty much inundate everything with water overnight. Heavy thunderstorms, and we had wind warnings and all the usual doom and gloom, but really it didn't actually do an awful lot around here. I'm looking at the creek bed now, and if you can see water, you have better eyes than I do. So yeah, the reality is, you know, from a seasonal perspective, is this creek is probably not going to be flowing much until the water table is completely full, which I think it stays reasonably full. Just from the nature of even a light rain will pretty much make the soil, you know, soft and malleable. But the in terms of the overflow from the creek, that's a whole different perspective from the creek. So my dreams of catching yabbies, I don't have any dreams of catching yabbies. Yabbies are crayfish or crawfish, freshwater crayfish. Yabbies, probably not going to happen. Well, you never know. We shall see. Anyway, so taking advantage of the fact that we have no sun at all, we have nothing going through our solar at this moment, at all. So that's a thing. And traffic go past. So today's going to be a test. We didn't start the day with a fully charged battery bank. I think we were about, woke up this morning, I think we were about 58% or something this morning, and it's down in the 40s now because we've done a recharge of some laptops and stuff while I was away doing the rounds, doing the shopping. So yeah, we'll see how the power lasts out. We're supposed to be pretty much cloudy all day today. Like 100% or 99, 98% or more cloud cover, so we really won't get anything at all. If we do, it'll just be dribs and drabs, which is fine. But not concerned. Like I've said in the past, we have a backup generator if we need it, but I don't think we will. The only things that we really use the power bank for at the moment are recharging laptops, which, as I said, are pretty much full, and recharging the battery bank in the RV, which is also pretty much full, so we don't use a lot. We don't use a lot of power. Propane on the fridge, and power when we have, power to spare. So yes. Anyways, main ramble topic today. I guess I've kind of gone off my, whatever thought hits me when I walk out the door motif. Right now I'm just climbing up the home site. We had an opportunity to pick up an extra chunk of land. The lot that was adjacent to us at the lower end of the property came available. I think some people who bought it were using it for hip camping or for hunting, and decided they didn't want it for whatever reason. So we found about it from the grapevine, but unfortunately it got snapped up before we could snap it up. But fortunately it got snapped up by our farmer neighbours who I met the other day. So that's actually good. So, all things work out. We would either grab it and become their neighbours. They raise cattle. Or alternatively, they grab it and use it for whatever purposes they needed, which I believe was some access road. So either way, win-win as far as we're concerned. Would have been nice to have it because it does have some more seasonal creeks on it. Very odd shaped chunk of land though, so fencing it would be an exercise in parallelograms to stick the fence around that. So I don't know. We'll just have to see how that one works out. And yeah, I'm at the top of the ridge now. Almost at the top of the ridge. You can see the base camp behind me. Lots of lots of growth still actually here. It's kind of nice. Wish my iPhone had that flip feature. We've got a lot of deadfall. There's a big chunk of it behind me there. Where I'm standing right now, and again just a kind of base camp for reference, where I'm standing right now is actually technically above where the top of the house will end up being, because this is actually the top of the ridge, and we're going to have to clear a bunch of stuff because as you can see we have some fallen trees, and they're going to need to come down. Sad to say, but we're going to have to do a little bit of clearing here anyway. It's not really an option. We can't have like huge tree roots growing into the house. It's not really going to be very cool. So there's going to be a lot of prep work needed here. Get these out of the way, and this hill will kind of behind me will literally be kind of exposed, and we'll be building into that, but not today. Today is just going out for a bit of a walk. The weather is really good, like I think it's 68 degrees, which might sound cold for some people, but for me it's perfect. It's like, oh, so good. A bit of a breeze just to add a little bit in there. So I don't know whether that was a pine. I can't tell from what's left on the. Actually, I think it was a pine. But if you look behind me here, if I can get that in view, it's actually sprouting another little baby pine from the roots. So anyway, these things happen. So I've got a lot of debris. These are trees, old trees. I think they've just come down in various storms and what have you, or the roots just haven't held them up. A lot of nice moss, and there's actually a surprising amount of growth underneath all these leaves. You wouldn't think it, because we've got like layers and layers and layers of leaves now. And the storm last night, again, it's kind of hard to see in the background, but pretty much stripped all the leaves or remaining leaves off most of the trees. Storm last night and this morning, and when the winds came through, it was literally belting leaves up against the camper. So interesting experience. And I haven't really been in a super heavy rainfall for quite a while, not since Florida. Inside the camper, I'd forgotten it actually gets a little loud. Because there's not a lot of exposure. You know, the rain comes down hard on your camper roof, and runs off everywhere. But it does make a bit of noise. I like it because I still remember growing up, staying at my grandmother's house in Collingwood in New Zealand, and she had the best beds, the best mattresses. You know, those ones that you can't get these days for love or money, that are just like feather down kind of bedding, and nice clean sheets, all hand washed, and super soft pillows, and you're like young because you're just a young teenager, just a kid, and it's cold because it's winter, so you snuggle down in the blankets, and then curtains are open, and I still remember those times weirdly. And the big storms used to come across, and they'd basically hammer the rain down, but the lightning was just something else. It would just light up along the tree lines. Just kind of drop down all over the place. It was, as a child, it was my first real taste of serious storms and serious lightning, plus being rural and in the country, and yeah, it was pretty awesome. But did not really understand how awesome it was until later in life, because sorry to tangent. So here's another tree here which has got like a little yellow, I don't know what these yellow tags denote. I had to look it up, but if someone is watching this and knows what these little yellow tags on trees denotes, by all means please let me please let me know. We don't have a lot of them, but there are a couple of trees around here that have them. I don't know whether it's something that hunters have left behind or in previous trips to the property. Hard to say. That's a good point, actually. I probably should be wearing brighter clothing. Because even though I'm on my own land, it doesn't mean that others won't come past and trespass and go hunting deer and stuff. So anyway, so yeah, weather. So that ramble, back to tangents again. I'm just enjoying this beautiful weather, temperature at least. I was talking to Dawn this morning. It's like, we're talking about old age and people getting old and wearing out and stuff. And this isn't an ageist conversation, by the way, but I said, yeah, well, the whole, majority of the population living past, the age of 70, for example. I'm just throwing that number out without any real scientific basis, so don't hold me to that, but I'm just using this as a benchmark. The average age for men, I think, here in the States or something, I think it's dropped, but it was about 78 years, and I think women are 80 or 81. But that's a relatively modern thing. It isn't that people, a modern thing, in the last century, maybe even century and a half, but certainly the last century, and probably even a little less than that. It isn't that people didn't live to those ages. They most certainly did. It's just that now we have, quote unquote, better health systems and sanitation and less exposure to wild things that will make your day bad. And we're quote unquote much more civilized, though that's a discussion for another day as to whether we really are. Modern society is just kind of generally improving things. And I don't know whether this is the case in quote unquote third world countries, which is a label that we put on them. They certainly probably don't consider themselves to be third world countries. They consider themselves to be a country name here. But anyway, the point I'm making is that, the whole phenomenon of the majority of the population living past a certain age is relatively recent. And it kind of keys in with, physical development, men and women. Generally we pretty much mature by the age of 25, give or take. Some people, there's always exceptions, those that are outside the norm, but that's pretty much the given. Your physical development is usually tops out about the age of 25. And your mental / development, usually around about the age of 30. In your 30s, you're pretty much done, baked in terms of that. And I'm not going to get into a huge debate with people about this. This is just all generalizations and opinions, remember. But my point is that as a species, we are, programmed to basically grow within a couple of decades, to reach maturity, physical maturity within a couple of decades, to reach emotional / mental maturity within maybe another decade above that, and then after that the rest of it is gravy. And the good old bad old days, your life expectancy might be 40, 50 years, maybe tops, because things are wearing out, and your sanitation's not great, and your food's not particularly good for you, and there's things out there trying to eat you, and your neighbours are trying to kill you, and just life back then. And that probably had a lot to do with it. And if you made it to 50, you were considered very much an elder. If you made it older than that, you're something to be totally respected and revered. But in my ramble, since I've gone completely off tangent, my point here is that this is just theory. You reach your maturities in your 30s, and everything else after that is pretty much life experience, for good or for bad. I don't know that you're necessarily emotionally mature anymore. I think you may have the benefit of more experiences that you can draw on that will allow you to frame judgments better or worse. but ultimately, you know, your actual emotional development and intellectual development is pretty much where it's at. Everything else is just kind of learning, and your brain's no longer that big sponge for sponging stuff up. It's done. So anyway, so my point, just coming back again as I head back to finish this ramble, back to my grandmother's house and the big storms and the nice comfy bed and experiences and the like, is that personally I didn't really appreciate those until much later in life. You know, I certainly didn't really appreciate it then. I experienced it, but I didn't probably appreciate it. I might have been a little scared, or you know, some kind of stimulus reactions because, you know, big scary storms and all that kind of stuff. I don't think I was, but you know, who knows? A sense of awe. But the other side of the coin is later in life. You know, I'm past my mid-50s, so on my way there. I'm past shaman level. There you go. Past shaman age in older cultures or elders, whatever. Is that some of those experiences now actually hold a lot more pertinence, and I'm actually much more appreciative later in life that I actually had the opportunity to experience those, and to be able to remember them and relay the stories back to hopefully add something to your days. That is a positive thing. You know, some early memories that you might have that perhaps you hadn't really thought about, but something kind of triggers it. And I guess I'm really just appreciative of the people and the places and the experiences that have led me here and still continue to lead or guide or direct or push or poke or cajole or plead or kick my behind or whatever, to move me forward in whatever direction I am destined, fated, whatever, to go in. And a lot of those decisions were probably, if I think harder on them, may have actually been engendered possibly at a much earlier age than I really give it credit for. And it's only when you reach a certain place, a certain crossroad or junction in your life, that some of this stuff becomes clear. So, thoughtful, pondering ramble today, and well over the 10 minutes, but hopefully for those that stuck around to the end, I hope that you took something away from it. If there was anything to be taken away, something you can apply to your own life designs. And I'm going to cut this short and go and have a hot drink and post this video up, and we will ramble again tomorrow. I hope that you all have a great day. Take care.